September 8th, 2017. A woman who had not released an album in over a year walked into 1,600 stores across 17 countries on the same day. Not to perform, not to promote a song, to sell foundation. Here is the broken math. Rihanna has not released a studio album since January 28th, 2016. 9 years of silence from one of the most commercially dominant voices in pop history. 9 Grammy wins, 14 number one singles. An album, Anti, that has spent over 500 non-consecutive weeks on the Billboard 200 as of January 2026. And yet, the longer she stays quiet, the richer she gets. Her net worth as of 2026 sits at an estimated $1.4 billion. Fenty Beauty alone is valued at approximately $2.8 billion. Forbes confirmed she is among the wealthiest female musicians in the world. The public narrative says Rihanna abandoned her career. The financial reality says she traded a career for a kingdom. Those are two very different things. And the critics who keep asking, "Where is R9?" are asking exactly the wrong question. To understand this, we have to rewind. Before there was Fenty, there was a girl from Barbados who signed with Def Jam Records at 16 and released her debut single, Pon de Replay, in 2005. It hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. For the next 11 years, she moved at the pace the music industry demanded. 1 album per year through 2012. 8 total albums in 11 years. The machine required feeding, and she fed it brilliantly. But here is what nobody talks about. Before Fenty Beauty, Rihanna had already tried the celebrity beauty route the traditional way. She collaborated with MAC Cosmetics. She released 10 fragrances through a company called Parlux Limited. These were licensing deals. Someone else owned the brand. Someone else kept the upside. She got a royalty check, which in most celebrity deals is somewhere between 5 and 10% of revenue. Picture those fluorescent lights inside a mall beauty counter. Her name on the packaging, someone else's name on the profits. Then, in June of 2013 or 2014, depending on the source, something shifted. Rihanna quietly trademarked her surname, Fenty, across multiple product categories. Most people missed it entirely. The music blogs were busy covering her tour dates. She was playing a different game already. The lesson she learned was simple and brutal. Ownership beats fame. Every single time. A 5% royalty on $570 million in revenue, which is what Fenty Beauty generated in its first full year according to Forbes, would have paid her approximately $28.5 million. That is a career-making number for most people. But owning 50% of a $2.8 billion company? That is a completely different sentence. She did not want to check. She wanted the building. By December of 2016, Rihanna had signed a joint venture agreement with LVMH's in-house beauty incubator, Kendo Brands. The deal was finalized on January 9th, 2017. The structure was not a licensing deal. It was not an endorsement. It was a 50-50 co-ownership arrangement, Rihanna and LVMH as equal partners. LVMH, the same company that owns Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Bulgari, the most powerful luxury goods company on earth. She did not go to a makeup company. She went to the infrastructure. This is what most people miss when they analyze Rihanna. She is not a beauty influencer who launched a product line. She is a holding company that used a music career as its initial distribution channel. Fenty Beauty is not her side hustle. It is the main event. The concerts were always the side hustle. On September 8th, 2017, Fenty Beauty launched simultaneously in 1,600 stores across 17 countries. Sephora, Harvey Nichols, FentyBeauty.com. The first collection had 91 products, including 40 foundation shades at a time when most competing brands offered between 10 and 20. That last detail is not a diversity talking point. It is a market capture strategy. According to industry analysis compiled by Art Nova in January 2026, the 40-shade launch forced a complete restructuring of the competitive landscape almost immediately. Maybelline expanded their Fit Me foundation from 16 shades to 40. CoverGirl launched True Blend with 40 shades. Dior released the Backstage foundation with 40 shades. Industry analysts coined a specific term for this, the Fenty Effect. One product launch rewrote the rules for an entire global industry. In the first 40 days after launch, Fenty Beauty generated approximately $100 million in sales. In that same period, LVMH's cosmetics and perfume division reported a 17% jump in quarterly sales. Time magazine named Fenty Beauty one of the 25 best inventions of 2017. At Harvey Nichols in the United Kingdom, the brand sold one foundation every single minute and one lipstick every 3 minutes in September 2017. It was Harvey Nichols' biggest beauty launch ever, bigger than MAC Cosmetics, a brand that had existed for over 30 years. By the end of 2018, LVMH chairman Bernard Arnault publicly stated that Fenty Beauty had reached almost 500 million euros in revenue. He called Rihanna, and this is the quote that matters, a true entrepreneur, a real CEO, and a terrific leader. Not a singer, a CEO. Parallel to Fenty Beauty, Rihanna launched Savage X Fenty Lingerie in 2018. By 2021, it had raised $115 million in Series B funding, achieved a valuation above $1 billion, and reported revenue growth of over 200%. She brought in an additional $125 million from investment firm Neuberger Berman, bringing total venture funding to $310 million. She became the first Black woman in history to build two separate billion-dollar companies. According to Afrotech, that milestone was confirmed in November 2025. At the same time, think about what she was not doing. She was not touring. She was not promoting an album. She was not doing the exhausting, body-consuming labor of being a pop star. In 2023, she headlined the Super Bowl halftime show in front of more than 121 million viewers. She was not paid a single dollar. The NFL covers production costs but does not pay performers. She used the biggest free advertising platform on the planet to announce her second pregnancy and to touch up her Fenty Beauty products on stage in front of over 100 million people. $5.6 million in earned media value was generated within 12 hours of that powder touch-up moment, according to Art Nova. She turned a performance she was not paid for into a product demonstration seen by more people than the moon landing. Here is where it gets complicated. In October 2025, Reuters reported that LVMH was exploring the sale of its 50% stake in Fenty Beauty, working with investment bank Evercore on the process. Sources put the value of that stake at somewhere between $1 billion and $2 billion. Fenty Beauty's net sales in 2024 came in at approximately $450 million, down from the $570 million peak in 2018. Forbes reported in 2025 that Rihanna's estimated net worth dropped by approximately $400 million from $1.4 billion to closer to $1 billion, driven by flat Fenty sales, the departure of Savage X Fenty's CEO Hilary Super to Victoria's Secret in August 2024 for an $18 million package, and what LVMH itself described as a challenging environment in the Chinese market. Analysts at NSSG Club put it bluntly. They wrote in 2025 that celebrity brands built on fame rather than expertise have a time limit. When the narrative anchor steps back, the brand cools. That is the risk she took, and it may be catching up. But even accounting for the decline, she is still a billionaire, still the wealthiest female musician alive, still the architect of the Fenty Effect. And in February 2025, she told Harper's Bazaar that R9, the album everyone has been waiting on for nearly a decade, is not going to be commercial or radio digestible. She does not need it to be. The music industry spends its time asking whether Rihanna will come back, but she never left. She just stopped letting the industry define what back means. She built a system that makes money while she sleeps, while she raises 3 children, while she rejects album drafts that do not match her growth. She looked at a business that offered her fame in exchange for her labor, and she chose ownership instead. Auntie is 10 years old and still charting. A deep cut called Breakin' Dishes from 2007 debuted on the Hot 100 in 2024 because of a TikTok trend, 18 years after its release. Without her lifting a finger, her catalog works for her. Her equity works for her. Her infrastructure works for her. The music industry made her famous. She used that fame to build something the music industry cannot touch. You can keep waiting for the album, or you can pay attention to what she is actually doing.